Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the check-in. I want to say we're back. We took a little vacation. I'll get into that in a minute, but welcome to the check-in. I'm your boy Heat Detector. Tonight we got SPINABIN. And is it SPINABIN, right?
Yeah.
Okay, SPINABIN or SPINBIN?
SPINABIN.
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 Go. Oh, you gotta excuse me, the dog. We got SPINABIN in the building tonight. But before we do all that, we're gonna get into something we always talk about or say in the beginning of the show, and that is if you are thin-skinned, if you dream of bunny rabbits and you dream of running through cotton candy laced fields and you're emotionally not there or not steady, we will want you to stay. But if it's too much, just go somewhere else. If it's too much. We deal with on this particular show, we deal with mental health issues. Of course, we would like everybody to tap in, everybody to watch. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and share, especially share if you know someone who needs mental health. We are not trained licensed therapists or counselors or anything of that nature. I personally am just a man that's on a journey of good mental health and being the best version of myself that I could be every day. That is the disclaimer. This is for entertainment, educational purposes only, man. Don't get crazy. But anyways, so we're back. This is the check-in. We took a little hiatus, the whole channel. We took a little hiatus for a little while, for actually 30 days. From the 19th to the 19th, it is the 19th, so we are back. It just so happened that the 19th falls on Sunday on the check-in. So we are here, and we're about to dive in. And I want to thank everybody for patiently waiting. If they have watched this show before, watched the channel, and wondered why there wasn't anything going on, guess what? We're back. Thank you for patiently waiting, and we'll be back with all of the shows and all of everything, and then some, a bunch of new stuff going on too as well. But tonight, it is the check-in, and I would like to talk about something that I feel is extremely important, especially when you're beginning your journey, or if you're beginning in therapy, or if you're just wanting to be better, maybe even at your job. But I feel like in relationships, it's one of the most extremely important things, and that is effective communicating. Shout out to Ace Vito, Salute on Rap to check in. What's cracking, my guy? Well, I'm not going to be reading. I'll be reading the chats, but I won't be putting them on the screen just yet. We're doing some different stuff tonight, so I have to reacquaint myself with the software. So please bear with me. But yeah, so tonight we want to talk about effective communication and how important effective communication is. Because if you're not really effectively communicating, it could cause a ton of unwanted problems. You could be sending the wrong message. You could be doing a lot of things, and even receiving the message wrong, because effective communication is not only just talking, it's also listening, and not having selective hearing, but really listen and processing things that are being said to you. And then once you have processed these things, giving back an effective answer, one that tells the person that you actually listen, that you understand. You know, it's cool to like really, you have to excuse me, yeah, really repeat. Aztec Dinero, shout out to Aztec. Thanks for tapping in, bro. But when you're listening to someone talk and you're processing that stuff, what you should not be doing is process or hearing things just to have a rebuttal, just to have a knee-jerk reaction, or just to be like, oh, well, I can't believe they just said that. But to really listen to what they're saying, process that information, and be able to effectively give back an answer or an explanation, whatever it is that person's trying to communicate to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To give back an answer that helps them to understand exactly what's going on, or helps them to understand whatever it is that they were talking to you about. Because it's so easy when, especially in relationships, it's so easy to not hear what's actually being said. You know what I'm saying? And so it's important to not only, like, for instance, if I said, man, what you did yesterday really upset me, man. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? If you answer that, if I'm saying it to you in a manner in which it's very clear, very understanding, like you get the point. So in return, like the right thing, or you should say, I don't know the right thing or whatever, but when you're effectively communicating, like I said, when you're listening as well, you should be able to answer back like, did I hear you right? So it upset you for whatever, and what did I do that actually upset you? You know what I mean? Process the information and then give a response back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that way the person understands and, oh, he heard me. You know what I'm saying? And he's able to, the person's able to also say, okay, well, whatever it was, you know, I forgot what I just said, but you know, whatever the answer may be, if I said you really upset me yesterday, and your response would be, I hear you and I apologize, but I don't understand what exactly did I upset you over? You know what I'm saying? And then I would go in to say, well, you know, you walk by and you kick my shoes, or you know what I'm saying, or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's important to not only communicate with boundaries. Like if I'm talking to you, I have to communicate effectively and clear and concise in what my message is to you. I can't beat around the bush. I can't do any of that shit. I have to be like, okay, if something upset me that you did or whatever, I have to be very clear on what that is, and very clear about what I'm upset about, very clear, and not be like, well, you know, yesterday, you know, you fucked up yesterday, and you know what I'm saying? Microphone Misfits. Shout out to D Nick, man. He said, welcome back. Yeah, thank you, brother. But you know, when you're running around in circles and you're not really getting to the point, a whole bunch of other shit can fucking happen. A whole lot of other things can be said, a whole lot of things can be brought up. And before you know it, you're not even really talking. The message is lost in the gibberish. You know what I'm saying? The message of whatever was the initial argument or the initial talk or whatever it may be will be lost. Like if I'm upset about something, I'm gonna say straight up, like these are my boundaries. You know what I mean? This is what, you know, I need from you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I need you to not kick my shoes every time you walk by, especially like if that's something you do. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't. Non-effective communication would be like, you know how you be walking around the house, man, you don't even be looking where you're going, man, you just be doing all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And also to the tone when you say something, because the tone can set, you know what I mean, if the tone is a little loud or a little whatever. And I'm not saying you know, none of this stuff is like, oh, you soft if you say it this way, or you this or you that if you do, you know what I'm saying? Because none of that shit matters. I don't feel like it does. Hold on. Welcome back. Ill for real, back to the check-in. Shout out Ill for real. What it do? What it do, everybody? Peace and love. Ace Vito. The message is lost. Came back, basically. Wait a minute. God damn, I can't read this shit from there. The message, he says, the message is lost in comebacks. Basically, yeah, the message is lost when, well, you shouldn't be if you're trying to or working to have effective communication. The last thing you should be thinking about while you're listening to somebody is a comeback. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You should be hearing what they're saying. But let's get back to like if you're constantly kicking my shoes, maybe you're doing it consciously, maybe you're not, or maybe it's me that should be moving my shoes. But in my mind, you know, it's like, hey, man, do you think it's possible that you could pay more attention to how you walk around the house? Because you keep kicking my shoes and it bothers me. You know, let's say I'm weirdo, like, and my shoes have to be a certain way. You know what I mean? And every time you come by, you kicking and they're pointed east, and that drives me crazy because I got ADD or whatever the case may be. What do you think your response like to something like that would be?
Somebody saying it to me, or
Yeah, like right now, like if I said, "Hey, man, I would appreciate it if you walked when you walked around the house that you know, pay a little bit more attention to where you know how you're walking throughout the house because my shoes keep getting kicked and I got ADHD and I really feel like they need to be pointing west and not east." And I would appreciate it because it drives me crazy a little bit.
I will have to think about it for a second, and I'll be like, okay, I got you. I look out where I'm walking for your shoes' sake, just for the sake of, like you said, effective communication.
Well, one of the things they say about effective communication, and like when somebody says something to you, and then when you process it, is to be like, okay, did I hear you correct by saying,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah,
I would also ask, like, am I hearing you right?
mm-hmm.
Because 9 times out of 10, I would either know this already or this is something I don't know
Right,
about you.
right.
So
So you would say
it's
something like
it's a
what?
lot of factors. I would say something like what I just said, but in a manner of like not trying to be like an asshole or nothing.
But you see, like if we're thinking about what's being said, right, and we're really processing it, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
I could see how like a person would be like, well, what the fuck do I care? Your shoes are pointed, need to be pointed west and not east. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I like, you could easily take that and be like, well, I ain't walking through it kicking your shoes on purpose. You know what I'm
you
saying?
feel me?
That's the easy thing, but then that would cause a whole lot of other shit. Could possibly, you know what I'm saying? Or the other person not listening or doing whatever could take that offensively. You know,
Yeah,
so like when you ask the question back, like, okay, if I'm hearing you right, I'm kicking your shoes every time I walk by or whatever. Well, I didn't mean to, and I was unaware that you
you
had
feel
this
me?
thing where they had to be pointed west and not east, and I'll be more mindful. You know what I'm saying? I apologize, and I'll be more mindful when I walk through when I see them. Where I
For
step and where I kick. You know what I mean? It sounds
yeah,
stupid.
I know what you mean.
It sounds stupid, but it's actually a thing. I mean, effective communication is so fucking key.
Yeah,
You know, and it's one of the things I think that really gets looked over, like when you're in a relationship, and that be romantic or friends or whatever. Like, is even if you're trying
just
to tell
life in
something to a
general.
friend, yeah,
Yeah, because you could tell something to somebody that you probably always play with, and then it'd be serious, and they'll take it in a planned manner,
mm-hmm,
and then it's like that's not really effectively communicating.
right.
You know what I mean? That's a lot of ways that that subject played part in a lot of things. But
What do you think is like? What do you think is, if you could, like, if you've ever thought about like a situation that you could have handled better? What do you think are some of the things that you could have done to handle the situation better, as far as like if you got into an argument or something? You don't have to name any specifics or anything like that.
uh, probably like me arguing with like random people, or me arguing with people online and stuff like that too. But I can't really say I regret having any, you feel me, interaction I did. Cause everything taught me something, for real, for real.
And you take it as it happens, as it comes, and then use it,
Yeah,
the lesson learned.
yeah. It's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time.
Why do you say that?
Cause like you would do shit that you don't usually do, because you're trying to learn the lesson, but at the same time you don't realize that you're doing that. You feel me?
Right. Well, that's why, like, when you're communicating with somebody, and even when you're listening, you have to be a good listener. You have to
Yeah.
process what's being said to you, and leave the negativity and all of that to the side, leave all of those things to the side, and really pay attention to what the person is saying, or they're trying to say to you, or they're doing their best to communicate to you. And even if it gets out of hand, there's nothing wrong with telling somebody, all right, okay, can we take it down just a
Yeah,
notch?
yeah.
And then can you repeat that? You know what I mean? If you're not understanding something, okay, is it possible that you can repeat that so I can get a better understanding of what it is that you're trying to tell me, or what it is that you need to tell me?
Yeah.
Especially if you're not understanding it. You know what I'm saying? If it's going all over the place, I've been in situations with people, and they're talking at me, and I kind of know what they're getting at, but not really. So a lot of, and I can see they're getting a little, hyperactive, or a little hyped up, or whatever. Like, okay, hold on. Like, take it down a notch. Talk to me. Tell me what it is. You know what I'm saying? Help me understand. I need to understand in order to give you a good response, or to respond to it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Because if somebody's yelling at you, it's easy to get right in there with them, and right in there start arguing. Before you know it, the fight and the argument, it ain't got shit to do with whatever the problem was. And then you end up being frustrated, mad, pissed off, the whole gambit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when something like that happens, even if they're not yelling, but you could tell, because another thing about effective communication is paying attention to body language. So when you pay attention to somebody's body language, you can see someone possibly tensing up, or you know what I mean, their face may change, or you know what I mean, they might start looking angry. You know what I mean? There's a whole lot going on there. What's that? That's ill for real. Yeah, I just put it up. I just posted. I didn't get a chance to read it. It's not seen as an inconvenience to those that care about your comfortability. There's got to be compromise when it's getting to be too much, though. Some people take advantage of that. Yeah, well, not everybody knows how to effectively communicate. You know what I mean? And that's why it's important, especially if you're in a position, or putting yourself in a position to get help, or to be a better person. It's like accountability to me. It's like one of those first steps of like really pulling yourself together. You know what I mean? For lack of better terms, like mentally, and to be better around other people. You know what I mean? Because if I'm able to effectively communicate to someone whatever my wants, needs, or desires are, then it's better for them to easier for them to understand, easier for them to relate to what I'm talking about, and understand, really truly understand what I'm talking about. Because you also have to have empathy when you're communicating. It's important to have empathy, you know what I'm saying, for the person. And the other thing is so important is be clear and concise. If you have what the fuck is the word I was just thinking of? Not borders, but boundaries. I mean, you can set boundaries without sounding like an asshole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A boundary is a boundary. If I don't like something, and something that bothers me, then I'm going to say something. I'm going to say, no, this is something I won't deal with. This is something I won't have. I have to set a boundary. You know what I mean? For things, for me to be comfortable, for me to feel safe, for me to be whatever it is, for me to not be angry or whatever. My boundary is going to be my boundary, but I also need to be able to communicate that effectively.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Also, though, a lot of times boundaries get broken in a sense of not meaningfully, but like things that happen over time, and it's just mistakes happen. We can't all say we never messed up in our life. That's just not possible. But it don't matter with nothing, relationships, friendships. You gonna have a lump within, like, y'all gonna have some shit gonna happen between y'all. It is about effective communication, but it's also about the actions and the shit people to do behind that. Like, you feel me?
What do you mean by the actions that they do behind it?
I'm saying, like, say you get into an argument with your friend, boom, y'all stop talking, y'all get back talking, but then it's like every time he around, y'all be making jokes. He be trying to go over crazy on you. Y'all go out. He be trying to play with you, all type of weird shit. Then you gotta just say fuck him at that point.
Well, I mean, a
Like,
boundary, I don't mean to cut you off, but a boundary is a boundary, right? So
yeah,
if you explain to your friend, because also too, like whenever you're having a conversation, especially if it's something that you don't like, or you're communicating to somebody that this is a boundary, before that conversation ends, there should be some resolution, especially if you're both understanding. Like
yeah,
if I have a boundary, if I tell a friend of mine, this is my boundary, right? I don't like you playing around with me personally. You can, you know, you can play with everybody else. I'm just not with the
yeah,
jokey jokes. You know what I'm saying? I'm
yeah,
not with it. And y'all talk about it. And if a person continues to do it, well, then they're not respecting you, or they're not respecting your boundaries. So there's really, you don't have to stick around for that shit.
you feel me?
Yeah, you don't have to stick around and wait till the next time around. You know what I mean? You could communicate to them again. Listen,
This
I've
is for
already
the
explained.
viewers too.
Yeah,
Like,
I've explained my boundaries to you. I've communicated them to you. He said that's exactly how things don't get resolved when one person doesn't have the ability to communicate. Some get defensive and lash out and bring up other stuff that bother them. Right. Well, the whole thing about effective communication too is sticking to the topic, sticking to the damn topic. If my thing is, and I'm telling you, for instance, if I'm telling you, Spinabin, that look, man, I don't like playing around with you like that. This is not something that I want to do,
yeah,
and I'm going to ask you, like, refrain from that
yeah,
with me, right?
yeah,
And you take it some kind of way, and now you're bringing up other shit. None. It's very easy to be said for me to say, hold on. Let's stick to this right here, right now. We'll get to that other stuff in a minute, but right now I need you to understand what I'm telling you right now. You know what I mean? Like I really need you to understand that I don't want to play around. And if it
that
continues,
part,
I just won't be around.
that part.
You know what I'm saying?
You
It's
know what I
just, it's
mean?
pretty simple. Like, you got to pretty much, if that is a boundary for you and it bothers you, you have to stand on it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Without being rude or anything, you know what I mean? And maybe the person that's watching, not watching, but that you're talking to doesn't even understand that they're joking around
you feel
too
me?
much or whatever. So then you have that conversation about it, and then a light may click off, click in their head, and they, oh shit, I didn't even realize I was doing that, man. My apologies. I'll be very mindful of it next time. They might not be saying mindful. They might, okay, you got it, my nigga, whatever the case may be. But it's important to talk about that. Now,
Mhm.
other shit is brought up. Hey man, stick to the script. You can get to that other stuff at another date. But if I'm coming to if you're going to someone to talk to them about a boundary or whatever, stick to the script. There's no need for that. There's no need for all the other talk. You know what I'm saying? There's no need for all the things that are around about. Stick to the topic, get some resolution, and then move forward. You know what I
Nah,
mean?
for real.
It's tough, man, because everybody's different. Not everybody knows how to communicate shit. I'm working on it myself daily. You know what I mean? Rather than resolving the current issue. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Ace. But shout out to everybody that's watching. Hit that like, hit the hearts, hit all of that stuff. We need all of that. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We're back. We took 30 days off. We got the studio still under construction. We're still doing more stuff. We're going to have a lot more shows coming, a lot more things happening on the channel. So make sure you like, subscribe, make sure you tell a friend, make sure you do all of that. We greatly appreciate it. But back to the topic at hand, which is effective communication. I don't even know if I'm effectively communicating, how to effectively communicate, but I'm doing my best at the moment. Well, I could do better, but I'm doing my best at the moment. I really feel like it was important to kick off us coming back to talk about communication, because I think that even with doing the channel and everything, there was a lot of things that haven't been communicated with a lot of the people involved with Unwrap. By the way, love and respect everybody that has and have had anything to do with the channel and the growth of the channel. But I just felt like it was a really important thing to talk about, communication, because even outside of this right now, just in life, in everyday life, I'm finding that the more steps I take to getting better at being a better version of myself, I'm struggling because we sometimes feel like, what the fuck is everybody else doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what, am I the only one here? But we're not in charge of the other person's time, their time frame or whatever they're doing. And the only thing that I can be I can be concerned about and worried about is for me, is how I treat people, how I behave with people, and how I carry myself, and the things that I desire for me, for my happiness, for my friendships, my shit. You know what I'm saying? And I've learned over the last few years that the communication part is, goddamn, I thought it was like accountability is huge for me, but what good is it for me to hold someone accountable for their actions if I'm not effectively communicating what it is that I want? You know what I'm saying? What it is that I feel like should be happening, or a boundary, or anything like that. If I'm not effectively communicating that, then how in the fuck can I hold them accountable? Really, in my mind, how can I hold them accountable for things if I'm not effectively communicating it? You know what I'm saying? So I'm finding it extremely important for me that the communication part is a key. And just because you're able to go, yeah, but because you're able to talk to somebody doesn't mean you're effectively communicating. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
You have to. There's a lot more. You got to dig a little deeper. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking to about you or anything. I'm just saying in conversation.
Yeah,
it's a lot harder to effectively communicate with people, especially if you feel like you're doing it. If you feel like your point is getting across, but yet there's still confusion in the things that are being said. So not only does the person have to process what you're saying and give a concise answer or apology, whatever the case may be, the person giving the message has to have their shit together. Because I can't just, if I want to communicate to you, I don't like you kicking my damn shoes. I can't just start off by, hey man, I need to holler at you. Hey bro, I'm getting real tired of you kicking my fucking shoes around. You know what I'm saying? Or even, because every time you kick my shoes, the next thing you know what I'm saying, then the dishes don't get done, man. I'm tired of you, you know what I mean? And you're always laughing at me and shit. Every time I say something about you kicking my damn shoes, you know what I mean? The message can be really lost if you're not communicating it right. You know what I'm saying?
Shit, man. That's the truth. That is the truth.
When the whole deal is, if we look at the root of whatever that message I was trying to give, or that boundary, and just stick to the script and just stick to whatever that is, and that is the real issue is my shoes being kicked because I have ADHD or whatever, or OCD, and I need them for me, so I don't get anxiety or I don't get whatever. Please have some empathy for me, and be mindful of where you walk, because it fucks my head up every time they're pointed in another direction.
On some shit like, it's not even what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
I get where you coming from.
Yeah.
That shit deep.
It's a lot, but just in my own experience, and even myself learning how to effectively communicate, or just communicate, period, has been rough. And shout out to D Nick. He could tell you it's been a rough road for the last 3 years, from where I was 3 years ago as to opposed to where I am now, and how I communicate and talk now, and how I resolve situations, and how I do things, because it is a process. You ain't gonna wake up tomorrow morning and all of a sudden be like, I'm about to go communicate to the world. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work like that, because you have to be very, very mindful. You know what I mean? You have to process the shit you're gonna say. You have to think about that shit. How can I say this to this person so that they can fully understand what it is I desire and I want, without being rude, without being deceptive, you got to take all of those things out. You know what I'm saying? And communicate that whatever that is, if it's the shoes being kicked, then I have to be able to give that message in a way that doesn't offend, but at the same time, it sets my boundary because that's what's important to me. You know what I mean? If I had that OCD or whatever, you know what I mean? That's probably a little extreme, but I mean, in that extreme example, it kind of gives it in my mind, it gives it kind of like some context, you know what I'm saying? Because if somebody has a condition or whatever, not being mindful of when you walking around and knocking shit over could really affect them emotionally, physically, getting anxiety or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
For real.
Yeah. So it's important, maybe well, I didn't touch on a whole lot of it today, but I think next week when we come back, we'll have a whole lot more to talk about. I will have the software under control. I will have the rest of the studio done. As you can see, we're under construction. We got a whole lot going on. We got, like I said, we got a bunch of new shows coming. I don't want to say a bunch. We got a couple of new shows coming. They're going to be pretty good, pretty dope, all that. The check-in, as usual, every Sunday at 8:30. Unwrap, as usual, every Friday at 8:30. Whoop-de-whoop Sports should be back Monday. Excited about that. 606, mic drop, Wednesday. We got a new show coming up. What was it called again? What? What? I forgot the name, man.
Damn.
What's on your mind, or what's on your? Get it off your chest, or something like that. Yeah. Speak your piece. Some shit. What's your problem? Yeah, was it What's Your Problem?
What's your problem?
Yeah, show called What's Your Problem. Y'all might want to be checking that out. We'll be doing also other shows on Rumble. We have a channel on Rumble. We'll be doing other shows. Those are going to be like the shows that we cannot do on YouTube because we don't want to be demonetized or get flagged or any of that. And plus, it's going to be more adult content, if you will. You know what I'm saying? But we got a lot of stuff coming on the channel. We got a lot of things happening. We appreciate everybody for tapping in. We are back from vacation. Salute to everybody. And thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week on the check-in. I am your boy, Heat Detector. Thank you to my guest, Mr. SPINABIN. And we'll see you next week on the check-in, man. Thank you for chiming in, checking in. Thank you, everybody in the chats. We'll see you next week. Peace. And